to be a teenage billionaire? How much does Ryan get to keep of all this?
Oh, be careful, Ryan.
Hey, Evangeline.
Hey, Ryan!
Thank you so much for being in the movie.
Oh, thank you! I can't wait to see it when it comes out August 16th.
Tell everybody about the character you play.
Ryan's World might be the next JoJo Siwa. If you have been on YouTube for any amount of time, there is a good chance you have heard of Ryan's World. Ryan's Toy Reviews is, or at least was, one of the most wealthy channels on YouTube, where Ryan, no shit, would review toys in a super crazy, flashy, colorful way that was basically only really meant to distract your kid for as long as possible.
Was that correct? I think it was. I think I got it first try. Yay, I can escape now.
That's the wrong button, Ryan.
This made Ryan immensely famous almost immediately as his channel completely took off and made him over $100 million in total. Mind you, this channel started when Ryan was only 4 years old. This got to a point where Ryan now has his own toy line, his own TV shows, and his own movies. But as all things do, he aged. And with him aging, it has become very clear to a lot of people, just go on TikTok and look up his name, it's everywhere, that Ryan no longer really wants to do this, but there seems to be a bit of an issue. Because despite Ryan no longer wanting to do this, he's still doing it. The views on his channel as well have taken a complete nosedive. Most of his audience has also aged out of this type of content. Pair this with the fact that kids nowadays don't even really want toys, simply because they have iPads shoved in their face 24/7. So what exactly is happening with Ryan's World then? Well, there's a couple things happening with Ryan's World, and the vast majority of the problems stem from his parents, which we'll get to that, but before we do, I want to go into kind of a history of Ryan's World. Ryan started his YouTube channel, Ryan's World, at the age of 4, doing toy reviews mainly. His channel quickly became one of the most successful on the platform, making him the highest paid YouTuber in both 2018 and 2019. In 2018, Ryan earned 22 million, followed by 26 million in 2019, and he has since generated over $100 million in revenue from his channel alone. His content includes toy reviews, branded toys, and collaborations with major companies. And as of recent, he has been expanding into a superhero franchise type thing. Ryan, as of now, is 12 years old, which means that he has been producing content for over 8 years, which to me is absolutely insane. His channel started all the way back in March 16th of 2015 and has since been a non-stop grind. They have not stopped posting ever, basically meaning he's working a 9 to 5 and he's been doing so forever. He's been doing this longer than the vast majority of your favorite content creators, making him a veteran. So where exactly do Ryan's parents come into all of this? Well, obviously it's not Ryan who is the one handling and managing everything behind the scenes, so it has to be someone, right? Ryan's parents, particularly his mother, are heavily involved in managing his career. They claim that Ryan wanted to start this channel when he was 4 years old, but there's some issues with that. One, I don't doubt that a 4-year-old would want to start a YouTube channel if they had the mental capacity to understand what the fuck a YouTube channel actually is, but there's a lot of issues where it's like, okay, how did a 4-year-old come to the conclusion that they wanted a YouTube channel? Why did a 4-year-old come to that conclusion? And was it actually the 4-year-old's decision? I don't doubt that Ryan had fun because it's literally just him doing toy reviews, but I'm not so sure that Ryan had a firm understanding of the multi-million-dollar conglomerate corporation that was being created under his name. Simply because that's not exactly something a 4-year-old would understand, because if it was, none of us would be poor or broke. We would all be millionaires by now. Ryan is the actual definition of my bad that I didn't buy a house in the 2008 market crisis when I was a fucking toddler, right? His parents have obviously capitalized on his success by creating multiple revenue streams, including the ad revenue from the channel, multiple brand deals, merchandise, and toy lines, generating over $1 billion gross across all revenue streams. They obviously control the revenue from the brand, and they also hold all of the rights to the brand, making it very unclear how much of the money is actually going towards Ryan himself. And hopefully, when he turns 18, all of that gets handed off. But if we're gonna be honest, we've seen this exact story play out time and time again, and I don't think that that's going to be the case. Most of the clips and most of the stuff that I'm talking about here comes from a documentary, or not a documentary, an interview that Ryan and his family did. I am going to put quotes around Ryan because it was mainly just his parents, actually.
But yeah, our company is mainly working on the production side of the content, and then we partner with Pocket Watch to produce Ryan's World toy products and TV series. Also, we partner with Pocket Watch to produce TV as well. So, YouTube production, we mainly handle it, and we produce over probably 10, 20 videos each week.
Each week.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not all of them, right?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what you're wondering, but
But the reason why we stream
This interview was very strange, as it is just showing that Ryan really doesn't have a say in a lot of what is actually happening. And this isn't the only interview where this happens. The vast majority of interviews where it's supposed to be based around Ryan end up with his parents talking for him. And I get it, he's 12, whatever, right? Parents can talk for children sometimes, but when the main point of the interview is about Ryan himself, it's a little strange that the parents are being so hush-hush with what Ryan says. There is a very good chance that his parents are at this point using Ryan as a cash cow, basically just putting him to continue and work until the content completely dries out. And the reason I'm saying this is simply because it is very obvious that Ryan no longer wants to do this.
Light Red Titan. What is this? A Red Titan comic book and blank pages? You know what that means.
On top of that, the content hasn't changed. Usually with these kids channels, they grow with the kids. Unfortunately for Ryan, this hasn't. He is a 13-year-old still making content for 5-year-olds. There's a lot of issues with this, obviously. Number one, his developmental status and social standing, basically. 12 to 18 is prime time to start garnering a personality and start being social and start trying to make your own way in life. That's usually the developmental stages. Very, very important, right? I don't think anyone's gonna argue with that. Ryan hasn't had the opportunity to do that. Ryan has been doing the exact same content for 8 years straight, and there is no signs of it changing at any point. Even though Ryan has stated himself, luckily, that he wants to kind of dip into animation.
When I grow up, I want to be like an animator. I think it's really fun to do because, like, the drawing, and then like at the end you get to see the whole thing and see what you've like worked on the whole time.
I'm just not so sure how much of that is his parents, because it still has to do with Ryan's World and the weird comic book series they're doing. The one thing that's really not going to help is probably bullying. I mean, I can't imagine being 13 and the only thing that you are known for is making toy reviews and making content for kids. I cannot imagine that that's going to do him any favors in high school or middle school. His age is very much felt within his videos at the moment. Ryan obviously is not the same little kid that used to be making these toy reviews. He should not be still making these toy reviews. And it's understandable why there's such a big dip. With him aging, it doesn't make sense for him to be doing this type of content anymore. There's a lot of weird pressures that are coming from this when there really shouldn't, if we're gonna be completely honest here. Ryan has a lot of options in front of him, and a lot of them being due to the fact that he's already made his millions. There is not really a point for him to continue the movies, to continue the YouTube channel, to continue any of this outside of greed. And not greed from himself, but greed from his parents. You see, his parents actually have a really weird past, specifically his mom, who has been charged with shoplifting. And I understand probably not wanting to go back to that. I'm not gonna blame her for shoplifting. They were probably broke way before Ryan started this shit. So I'm not gonna blame her for that. Shit's tough. But to still be exploiting your child like this is a little strange, especially since you guys have already made your millions. Unless they've blown their $100 million on just random bullshit, I don't see how this could be an issue. The channel is no longer bringing in as much money as it used to. That's very, very obvious when you start looking at the numbers. The brand deals can't really be bringing that much more in either, and it's starting to become diminishing returns. It would honestly be a lot smarter if they just stopped the channel, started investing into other brands and shit like that to, I don't know, make toys or some shit, pivot some way, so that way Ryan doesn't have to be in front of the camera and can live as a normal kid. We have over time seen a lot of people that were child stars turn to a lot of horrendous shit, because usually the case being child stars get treated like absolute dog shit and never know how to be social afterwards. Because when you're born into the industry like this, your entire perspective changes. You have been in the industry for all of your developmental phases. The perfect and prime example of this, like I said, is JoJo Siwa. JoJo was brought into the music industry at 2 years old, and it is very much felt throughout her entire career that she has never had an experience outside of the music industry. Ryan has been in the YouTube industry since he was 4 years old. And by the way, YouTube's not too much different from Hollywood when you start getting into the bigger and larger numbers of money and subscribers. Obviously, I mean, the kid has his own goddamn movie. When you're in the limelight like that for as long as you are, everyone knows you, and that can fuck you up, especially as a child. What could also really mess you up as a kid is being known for one thing. And Ryan is only known for his toy reviews, not anything else. And if they continue down this path, that's all he's going to be known for. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he ends up down the same exact path JoJo Siwa has been on. JoJo's not the only example of this, obviously. We literally just had the entire Nickelodeon documentary that got dropped on us a couple months ago. So I'm hoping that they let off a little bit on the steam on this one. Bottom line is, Ryan's world is kind of failing at this point. No one's watching the content anymore because he's not a kid. Ryan doesn't want to be in this, obviously, and honestly, you can't convince me otherwise. I mean, half the clips in this video are of Ryan just looking drained. He looks stressed. He looks like he has been clocking in 12 hours a day on like overtime. You know what I mean? Like, it is ridiculous how much they are working this kid. And they said in their interview that they want to try and make sure that Ryan doesn't get, you know, as much screen time as he has been. And they're trying to minimize it with having other kids in there and also including the parents. I'm going to be completely 100% real with you guys. It hasn't changed. And I know this because during research for this video, I went onto Ryan's channel and he's still in the videos. Not only that, but he's in all of the marketing for the movies, for the comic books, for the animations, everything. He is still the main parts of this entire industry. And that's obvious because it's named after him, right? So they think that putting him in things is going to make people more enticed to see it, stuff like that, but it's just not working out. Ryan, as a 12-year-old at this point, very much deserves to step away from the content. If he wants to go down another path, he should be able to, and I just don't feel like that's going to happen if they continue milking him. Obviously, there's a lot of pressures to keep up the business. I understand that, but you guys have made your money. Please, let the kid be a kid. If he wants to continue YouTube, maybe he could transition to something that other YouTubers have done. Other child YouTubers have transitioned their channel into something a lot more age appropriate for themselves. I'm honestly just hoping that they allow him to have his normal adolescence and they do not keep milking him. If they do, well, there's going to be a massive fall off of Ryan's world. I say all this and I wanted to make this video because I'm a father. Hello, yes, I am a dad. So shit like this always concerns me, and I think that it is important to make sure that kids are allowed to have a childhood. Because when you strip them away of that childhood, they end up down a horrific path, 9 times out of 10, and we have seen that time and time again. It never ends well. Anyways, I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please go ahead and leave a comment down below. Please go ahead and like. Please go ahead and subscribe, so that way the video can continuously grow and everyone in the world could see it. That'd be epic. Anyways, I gotta upload this video, so